first ever video interview. We have Corey here, Windmills. So he's gonna perform one of our songs for us. I'm excited. I hope everyone else is excited. So just introducing Corey and Windmills.
Cheers.
How did Windmills come about? Is there like a unique story behind it, or?
Yeah, for sure. It's funny, like as all kind of band things come about, there's always some weird connection, but it was right around the time I was thinking about starting up a new band and thinking with what to do with the band name. And I considered briefly just being like Corey Myers, like doing that, but for whatever reason I like that separation between performer and then artist in a way. So I wanted to, from the start, I wanted a name that would kind of reflect the sound and be something a little interesting. And it came about just as a couple friends of mine were all hanging out and we're discussing outside of Amsterdam where you find those traditional windmills, and my friend Michael, for whatever reason, said windmills in Wisconsin, and that stuck. I don't know why, just the phrasing of it, the weird the imagery behind it, and then I was just sitting around thinking about it, and windmills was something that was pretty interesting, so I decided to kind of drop the Wisconsin and just go with windmills, because it's a nice imagery in itself, and just being a one-man band and with looping and the amount of things that I loop and the sounds that I created, it kind of tied in really nice with that.
A severe lack of authenticity makes this all seem less to me like it could be. A kireru, a word that makes the ugly seem beautiful to you. And so you scoff so elegantly between fuck you parts.
I dropped an F-bomb in the song, like, you know that? And then there was like a good 30 seconds of just panic between her and the producer, like, what are we gonna do? And then right before they just cut for business or something.
For me, I like going out there as a one-man band and just kind of seeing the expectations before I play, like, okay, he's gonna do that one, like acoustic, like just play. Like I'm not knocking that, but it's always kind of something that I've kind of pushed myself to step beyond and not kind of fall into those categories. So I love kind of starting, and then if I start with the drums and then as soon as it's looped, just to kind of see those conversations that when bands are starting, you kind of talk, and then when those conversations just like stop, and then it's because then you know that like where is all this sound coming from, so that attention is given strictly to you. So it's always fun for me to go out there and kind of not see how long it takes, but just kind of surprise the audience with what I'm about to do. And go into shows sometimes wanting to be remembered for what I'm doing. So that was part of the thing with naming myself Windmills. It's like, well, it's not really me, it's kind of this performance. So it kind of, I got past it a little bit. That said, like the first 5 shows I played was like the most nervous I'd ever been to do anything in my life. Like sick, like I'm gonna like panic, like faint, like really, 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 really nervous. And I played shows now where people are singing my songs, and it's like, it's very weird for me because you write something as yourself. Like when you paint a picture, you're painting it because that's what you want to paint. And when I write music, it's what I want to hear and what I want to sing. So when someone else is singing those words back to me, it's just, it's kind of mind-boggling in a sense.
You talk about looping for people that don't know what that is.
Yeah, for sure.
Explain what looping is.
Looping is like with the pedal I have, well, loop pedals in general, it's just, it allows you to record what you're playing into the pedal, and then as soon as you hit the start button, it loops on a cycle for as long as you want or as short as you want. So for me, I'll start with a chord progression and I'll play that, and then that's looped, and then that'll go and go and go and go for as long as I want it to go. So basically looping just allows me to do more than if I was just a singer-songwriter, like acoustically. So it's interesting because there's so many things that can go wrong with it too. Like with my pedal, it's a loop sample. Like I have 14 seconds, where most loop pedals you have like 99 minutes to work with it. So it forces me to kind of really be on my game in terms of timing. I don't have that control over timing, and if I mess up, like I can't take anything out. Like I played on Saturday a new song for the first time. I messed up in the first like 30 seconds. I just stopped the song. I was like, I messed up. Like I can't play the song because for me, I know it's wrong and it won't be a good kind of representation of it. So it's fun because I like that challenge, but it's also, I mean, it can be really nerve-wracking when you're trying something out for that first time.
I don't think I've ever done Architects not loop. We'll make it happen.
We could pick a different one if you want.
No, it could be interesting. I'll just slow it down and make it unique.
On that first record, I mean, like each song, it kind of covered a wide range of topics, and this one for me is a lot more personal. Like it hits a lot closer to home, and it's just the time that I put into each track. And so if I was really depressed when I was making that record, I want that record to be as like heartbreaking to listen to as possible, or if I'm really happy, the same thing. So it was something that I consciously went into knowing like this is what happened in the last year with the song span. I'm gonna kind of represent it as raw and as honestly as I can. And then if that translates, great, but if it doesn't, like this is me on a disc, so I'm happy with it. So it was kind of, I didn't want to like, I don't have to kind of appeal to anything at the moment, so it's nice to be able to work within my own challenges and constraints, so it's an interesting kind of dynamic that way.
What would you say that you're trying to say about love? Because I know for artists, sometimes it sounds like they're talking about one girl or one person, and you can even hear it, you know? But like you, it seems like you're talking about a universal aspect of love.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, is there a reason why you took that approach, or?
I think it was something that I would never want to, like you said, write a song with one specific person, because good or bad, then there's all that power is given to that individual, and then it becomes kind of, not elitist, but it's how can you connect with someone if you know it's about someone specifically. So for me, writing about love or anything, it was just something I really enjoyed, those collective feelings. So it's like kind of those first few awkward dates or hangouts, and then as it progresses, as a relationship progresses, that's what I wanted my lyrics kind of to represent, and that kind of, no matter what I'm talking about, even if I'm referencing someone specifically at the time, it's as a whole, so then each kind of listener can be like, oh, I've been there, like I've experienced that, and someone else could be like, oh, I experienced this part differently.
Let structure play that perfect part and watch it slowly tear. As everyone I've learned to love, I've slowly learned to feel, and I'll remain at fault. Just me inside the baseness of it all. We take the time to trace the lines that shaped our lives in haste defined. And so I'll go back to what I know. Those architects designed the plans of blue and black and gray, but I burned them all some time ago and simply walked away.
It's been so like, these are my songs. I'm an awkward guy, my jokes are bad, but I'm not afraid to like fall into, like I'm okay with, like I accept that. So my awkward jokes, that becomes part of it and it becomes a performance in that regards, but it's nice because that connection with the audience is present because of it. So it's fun playing those shows where you can break down those expectations that the audience kind of has. Like with Ecotone, like you were saying yesterday, like everyone was kind of zoned in, and it's nice because it's not because of anything I'm doing is so crazy, it's just because of what I'm doing is a little bit differently, and it's because I'm not afraid to look like just a fool or mess up my songs from time to time. It's not so much I'm up here and the audience is here, it's more so we're all on the same level, and I like to kind of be able to hang out and talk with those people after the show.
What song is that?
That is the newest song I wrote. This song, I finished writing it on Thursday.
That's absolutely beautiful. So for SpitnStrut, we've just done our first interview. I'm excited. Hopefully there's more to come.